Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am here presenting the Scorpio new moon. Let's call it Scorpion. And we have some individuals that'll be logging on. And so here's some here. Hey, Ashley. And so we'll be looking at some of the information even in this wheel. We have in the first house the appearance and the outward personality, I am, the awareness of self. And a lot of the awareness of self is coming in because of the North Node in the first house, or in the Ram house, in Aries house, across from the seventh house, um, which will be different for everyone, but it's still going to affect us all. Appearance, the outward look, and your personality. A lot of people are going to be trying to rediscover who they are, how they look, and maybe put emphasis on looking better if they feel like they need to. So it's all about I am. And so that I am energy will also resonate from within. And it resonates from within when an individual is doing the internal work, inner works, you know. So we have inner works and outer works. Over here in the seventh house, which is Venus, um, it's a social house, it's a marriage house, it's a professional house, partnership. Um, However, the seventh house transit is for you. Say like my brother called me today and he was talking about things he's thinking about. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense because your marriage house is being accessed by Venus. And, you know, we're going to go into Scorpio, but the North Node is saying do something different in his first house. Change your identity. Maybe some people are changing from immaturity to maturity concerning the I am house. And over here, it could call you to another level of marriage, profession, or changing your marriage and profession and partnership. So North Node and South Node. Now, when we look at, see, I am a partner. Maybe that separateness of I am in the Ram house, because Aries is always about itself, is saying, now I want to partner with somebody. And you can see that here in the partnership area. This is what it will give. North Node, newness, South Node, the old, moving from the old. And what does that mean? Oh, it could be that you had um been in a relationship, it's old the way it was, and now you're going to redo it. Bam. It doesn't mean that you're going to get a divorce, blah, blah, blah. It just means that it's up for revision. So when we go into the Scorpio new moon, when we look at Scorpio here, the new moon is going to be in the eighth house. It's going to be different for others. I'm only going to do the signs that actually come into my class because I'm not letting people work me, and I'm not trying to throw information out there so that people will come and become a part of my class. I want you to become a part of my class because you feel that. So I read for the signs that come into my class and those that do individual sessions with me. The Bible says to, you know, don't cast your pearls. And so some people don't appreciate when you do nice things for them. So here we have I circulate, shared resources. Of course, I circulate and I share resources, but I teach sharing with those that understand sharing. A lot of people have come into, you know, my groups and they say, well, I'm a giver and I'm not trying to scrutinize or make you think that you're not a giver. I just want to know how far you're going to go to give, because the eighth house represents shared resources. It's not just with married people, as some people might say. It's not just with your partnerships. Shared resources is an environmental, social, psychological, and spiritual type of thing. That means that it's broad and it's vast. And this is what we're feeling right now. Some people might be going through with finances, with love, with family situations, and they need other people to share their love resources or common interests. And sometimes money. You might need bread from your brother and sister. Well, the eighth house is what that's about, right? You learn that wealth is the commodity in the earth. It comes from going through, it comes from a Plutonian journey where you are stripped of everything. When you learn how to share out of nothingness, then somethingness comes. And so across from I circulate all through my body. Remember that. But there can become blockages when you do not circulate even the thoughts and let them go. You circulate when you eat. The food must digest and come out. It cannot stay there. You see, I circulate. And so as we go on, we look at, this is the eighth house, and what we're dealing with is the second house. We're planting seeds in this eighth house new moon, because the full moon happened in April. All right. So here, what did you let go of in April, or what do you realize you let go of in April? The end of April is when that happened. Now you are planting seeds to circulate your shared resources. What do you need? And, ask and you shall receive. So here, across from there, how about that? It says money, possessions, values, and skills. And this is the second house. This is Venus's house. So, you may, in fact, desire this, or let's say you need this. I always give the scripture, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So if you go to the Lord and you shall not want, he says, ask and you shall receive. You can ask in your communities of people that you have built up. I can tell you that. And if you need something and the people are authentic, right here, I circulate will kick in and you will have. You see how we have, I have right here, because people in your community are a mirror of who you are. So if you give to them and they give to you, it becomes a reciprocal thing that you've been kind of learning together as a group, and it becomes a community. I can ask Ashley to give on that, because she's gonna be teaching the next astrology classes. See, I'm circulating this energy and this knowledge.
Oh, Miss Kim, are you setting me up to be teaching?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, to that point, I do teach people about what stuff is this? I teach people about it in like a limited form. Like I never give you, because you can't give everything away, as you say. So I explain to people like they go, oh, I know what my sun sign is. I know what my rising sign is. I'm like, okay, so you know those things, but do you know what that means? Do you know how that translates into like what the whole, like, you know what they are, but like, what's the whole point of knowing it if you don't understand it? So you might be right, Miss Kim. I might be coming up behind you soon to teach, but in the aspect of community and circulating, that's 100% true, because if you keep all information to yourself, or you keep everything, you're never planting seeds to grow, and you're never creating space to expand yourself. So it's
Good
awesome
job.
for you to, it's great for you to have the knowledge, but if you're not sharing the knowledge, you're not teaching and advancing the people around you to then learn from them, because we all have a different type of exchange and a different type of expertise and a different type of knowledge which grows. I don't have the knowledge in party planning like Honora does, but when she imparts anything on me, it opens my mind up to understand something differently. Just like Not everybody has the information that I have as far as real estate or life insurance. But when I provide it, it helps them to acknowledge and understand a different part.
Good job. All right, so the new moon in Scorpio, by the way, the moon is waxing Gibby, and I didn't write that down in Leo. And so I didn't write it down because I wanted to get right to this Scorpio moon. And this Scorpio moon, I think we can feel it even coming in at this time because it's big energy. A lot of people have spoke on it, but my take on it is the planting of new seeds and also putting yourself in a position of not succumbing to the issues that will come around us, like the Martian energy. Because Scorpio is a Martian energy and it will sting. It is a the symbol of a scorpion, but even with the fire of Mars, it can get heated up. Sometimes you can feel parts of your body get heated up when you get angry, and Scorpio's energy tends to go into that place before it will go into a resolve of peacefulness. So this is a great time to understand how well you're disciplined. The Aries Kazemi is coming up and it's going to be 21 degrees of Scorpio. And so that means that Scorpio moon and sun and rising energies will have a lot of changes within themselves. And there could already have been changes, but for those who are not and have not been working at understanding how to change internally, it will affect us because Uranus will be a part of that aspect. And Uranus is usually going to bring storms outside of us. So storms can come inside of us. It's very indicative to Jesus' teaching when there was a storm and Peter woke him up. The reason why the storm was there was not really a physicality or just physical, it was spiritual. And we have to look at the spiritual storms, not of life, where we're praying and fighting against the changes, but praying to understand how to change so that we can understand how to ride the waves of the storms, right? Why do we ride the waves of the storm? Because you can't change a storm. You can change a storm in you by discipline, and that means that you're praying and meditating. You might even look at where the universe is telling you to upgrade your spiritual walk, right? And so, with that being said, the Mars Kazemi is going to cause us to look at some things and also, walk through breakthrough. A lot of times we look at breakthrough as, a blessing, and it is. There's in breakthrough, there is sometimes uh, awakening to something we didn't know. It's also, it can be something that hurts. It can bring up old pains, but it means that we must overcome those old pains in order for us to elevate. And so with breakthrough, with the Mars Kazemi and the Uranus uh, it's an opposition, it's a cross, like this here chart is going from the second house to the eighth house. What that means is that there's some freedom also that's coming. So I look at it this way and say, okay, maybe for me, there's some freedom coming where there's been stagnant waters because um, uh, Scorpio's house, the eighth house, is a fixed sign. Some people could be fixed on things are never going to work out. Well, there's going to be a breakthrough there. You're going to think differently because it wants us to change our thoughts. I had been writing on shift your mindset, and shifting your mindset means don't keep thinking the worst. It doesn't matter if you went through the worst. The worst is over when you perceive it to be over. Shift your mindset concerning death. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's also a process of life. Shift your mindset concerning letting go. You must let go in order to grow or for something new to come in. Regeneration can't happen if you hold on to, like, if you want new clothes, you can't get new clothes unless you release the old ones. I remember last week or even earlier this week, um, Jasmine had asked if anyone had been really outwardly conversational, and I knew what she was talking about. And so Ashley said, because we have a community, um, Ashley said that her and her mom had been laughing a lot. But you also said you all were doing what?
Oh, we've been cleaning. We have been cleaning. I joke with
Mhm.
my mom because she used to watch the show Hoarders on
Oh,
TLC.
Lord.
And she would watch this show and go, I just got to clean my house. And Miss Kim, when you finally visit, you will see my mom does not keep. We don't keep a lot. Like we are very much
That's me,
like
huh?
if we're not using it, we don't need to keep it. It's gonna go. We hold on to certain things for sentimental value, but not a lot. So she she started one day in the basement cleaning things out. And I said, well, let's just do it all. And then we started cleaning out Lyric's toy room. And I said, we might as well just do it all. We're already here. But it was also, I said, well, we can't do it all. We have to leave something for Lyrics to do because this is her room. And this is also a lesson for her that she has to get rid of what she's no longer using. If any items are eligible for donation, we separate it to make sure we're donating what we're no longer using and those types of things. But we were having the best time finding things. We found a lot of my grandmother's stuff, so we were able to laugh and talk about her. Um, Funny enough, we found an article where I was in a newspaper, and I said when I was a kid that I wanted to be a chemist. And my grandmother had kept the newspaper article. And when I looked at it, I said, that's her handwriting on there, which I haven't seen. My grandmother passed maybe when I was like 8 years old, my mom's mom. So I hadn't seen her handwriting, but seeing it, I was like, wow, like so many little things. So it was nice to take the trip down memory lane, but the jokes my mom and I were having, the laughing that we were doing, it was so refreshing. And it's something that, her and I have always done clean outs, but also something that you had said to me that if you're always holding on, you're not making any space. So
Yeah,
nothing can be filled, nothing can be planted. Like if you have a full garden of dead weeds, how are you going to expect to yield any kind of harvest? You can't.
right.
So you
Hmm.
have to pull that stuff up and plant new. You have to get rid of the old to plant new. So it was Lyric had a lot of stuff, but it was fun to do with her and I and like laugh and joke and figure everything out. It was fun.
Okay, that was great for you to give those analogies because that's what this eighth house is about. And of course, again, it's going to be different in the context of the transit. Like for Scorpio, um, letting go. All right. So for let's go to Leo because Honora is not here. Um, and let's just talk about how we look at that. And we'll count over three houses from the fifth house, and it's going to be her fourth house. So home and circulation for Leo, dealing with relationships, home, profession, finances, banking, family, self-esteem, and also it could be real estate that comes up in some way or another. It could be shared real estate, shared money, shared resources, or like where you're sharing money. Um, Identify issues. She would be looking at identifying issues about, or the Leo, about family that could come up for karmic review to be settled. And the reason why, that's why Aries is that Kazemi is there because it's resetting for everyone. The karmic ties, because Aries is the beginning of the chart. So the Cazimi is resetting things. And even if you don't see it that way because you haven't been practicing the change, looking at the patterns of karma and saying, okay, I don't want to live like this no more. I want to move into my dharma. When I was out on the cruise ship, I spent a lot of time to myself, and dharma began to come up to me. And so I began to look at that. The universe, God will always give you an understanding of where you should be. And you can look at dharma for yourself, but karma is what we come here to work out, which is the situations that we may not have fulfilled in another lifetime. And, you know, there are people that don't believe in that. Something that we need to reschool on here at now and then rebirth out of, regrow out of, which is why you let go of something that does not serve you anymore, right? So examining situations can come to the forefront for Leos. I feel like writing this, the energy of be careful with emotional upheavals and conflict came to mind because it's sensitive, and it's where fire can spread, because that's a fire energy, Leo, and we have Scorpio's energy stinging. Someone could sting you and you want to sting back. Remember that you're working out of an old karmic situation, and you're moving into the seeding time of, that new Aries Kazemi, which is I am the Ram now. Who am I now? You know, new beginnings. For you, look at how you can grow more peace in your home, but peace in yourself first, because your home is a reservoir of who you are. So inner growth within yourself is where your peace in your home is going to come forward. There's no mastery over a home if I master myself from within. And that's what the concept that Jesus was teaching us. He was saying, master thyself, because in you, God lives. God lives within, the temple of God is within me. So if the temple of God is within you and I, and it doesn't matter that we're talking about Leo, what happens is that mastery will come in the individual, and mastery over their home and the fruit of the spirit, what they want to grow there. So the sting of Scorpio can be costly due to the new moon, because you're planting new seeds. What are you planting? Your own peace. No one can give you peace. Remember, you are planting seeds you want to grow. This should not feel laboring or laborious. It should be the way of life for you. I'm plucking up, like Ashley said, I'm plucking up weeds, and you really already been doing that from the full moon in Scorpio in Aries time of earlier this year. You're planting seeds now to come. You want to see the fruition of these good seeds by the time Pisces and Aries comes back around in 2024. That's March and um, April. All right. So be intentional also to set boundaries, heal past hurts and pains, and stand in your victory. Laugh a lot. This is a Leo. I think that they've been under pressure. They really have. Everyone has, but they've really been under pressure to grow. Treat others the way you would treat yourself. That means treat others the way you would treat yourself, and also learn to treat yourself the way that you treat others. If you're kind to others, then make sure you focus on being kind to yourself, because we're not no suffering saints up in here no more. Environment and social, spiritual, and psychological focus is at hand. I feel like Ashley can use that for her second house, which is Leo. That's where she makes her money, so she can focus on that also for the new moon. So Cancers are learning to circulate in the community while maintaining family and children. There could be issues with siblings, aunts, and uncles relating to communication, but healing could take place as well. Triggers from work, community situations, and from the past could come up. Be mindful of finances, banking, family, and real estate. Mindfulness means focus a little bit more. Why? Because the fifth house is where cancers are um, looking at this new moon. And the fifth house is about romance, children, family, and it's also about ancestry. So with the ancestry, again, there's a reset. You see, as we talk about it, the reset is in Aries, Kazemi. And so the reset will be in the Aries area, but that means new beginning there. That means there's a karmic closure that's going on. Some people will keep that old stuff open and some people will allow it to close down. Let's see, in all of these areas we would look at how do we close up, like financially, how do we create financial wellness, and you start praying about it. How do we make our finances better? You pray about it. I also I guess I want to add that to this group because I was going to work and I had the prayers coming up for the North Node, and those are things that anyone that's listening outside of here, if you want to join us, you're welcome to. It's $20 a week, or it could be $15 a week. Whatever you can afford. I ask for that because my hire is worthy. All right. So identify with any issues of how others have made you feel about yourself and grow from the perspective into your own butterfly. I feel like cancers, they have to work on self-esteem. And that would be um, some of you that are not, working. Your confidence level and self-esteem could change because the first house is being accessed by that new moon, and the Kazemi is being brought for a new you, new me, and everybody else. Um, the mere fact that it's happening is the awareness that I'm giving that if you're not changing your concept of yourself, that's on the table. If you feel insecure and feelings of fear come over you, it's because you need to get to that place of fear not, right? So, hold on 1 minute. It said, look at your relationships. Um, look at your relationships and enjoy life, explore life, and short travels may come up. Emphasis is on trusting yourself. You want to add anything, Ashley, before I go into Sagittarius?
I think just like how on the nose that was for me, because I've been having my own conflict with my sister, which I don't think she's aware of. So you said conflict in siblings, and it made me laugh because this is a person that I have conflict with internally a lot. So it's bringing to the forefront, you know, how do you change that? How do I how do I not just acknowledge it and dwell in that moment? Because it's no point in sitting there. It's point in changing it. So what do I need to do different to change it? And it was just funny when you brought up romance because I'm like, that's the furthest thing from my mind. But
Yeah, but it is, so it probably will ignite something.
and the funny thing is yesterday, because I've been in a place of overeating and I've been thinking about that, like, why am I overeating? What is going on? Um, and last night I was texting one of my good friends and I was like, well, maybe I'm lonely. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what's happening. And I'm filling that need with food. So now that I acknowledge that,
Yeah.
what do I need to do now? Because food is temporary. And am I really lonely and I want to be dating, or am I just experiencing something else because I'm about to make a very big decision? So it was just all the thoughts. And then also with it being holiday time, sometimes I get a little holiday blues. But it was just acknowledging all those aspects and going, oh, okay, there are some things coming up, and I'm a lot more aware of them now than I was a year ago, 2 years ago.
Right.
Just because I'm becoming more in tune. And I think so often when people think about relationships, they always think about the relationship outside of themselves. And one thing I was talking to Lyric about is that the most important relationship that she has is with herself and the way that
Mm.
she talks to herself. Because one day she got upset and she said, you know, I just hate myself. And I said, don't say that about you. You don't hate you.
Mhm.
And I said, but if that is something you're feeling, we need to talk about that, because that's not a positive way to feel about yourself. So um her and I did start to explore that. And she goes, well, you know, I don't hate myself. I just don't like when I disappoint you. And I said, but that's not a feeling you have about yourself. That's how a feeling you have about an interaction with me, which is completely different. So just exploring that and understanding, like, when you're solid with yourself and who you are, and you actually can say, I love myself, and it not be like, yeah, I love myself, but no, like, I love myself is the complete sentence. It is a shift for you, because then you meet people who are in that same space, and you're able to feel completely free, which I think most people always say they want to feel free, but they don't fully understand that. So um like you said, praying and meditating and getting connected with yourself, that's first most important. And even when you're focusing on your finances, focusing on, I might be the problem. I might be overspending, I might be overindulging in areas where I shouldn't. So I need to get wise and really focus. Like, did I need to buy a coffee every morning if I have a Keurig at home? Could I buy something from the store and make my coffee at home? Did I need to travel 40 miles out of my way to go to that store because it just opened, and waste the gas and then go into the store and waste the money? Or could I have just not? Like, make these conscious decisions to avoid situations that will put you further into a place you don't want to be.
Oh my
Um,
Lord. That's some good stuff.
yeah, I just wanted to give that, because when you were giving so many things, like, these are conversations I had to have with myself. Like, is that something that's really a priority? Is that something really you need to do? No. Do we fall into those gaps where we fall back and we do it again? Yes, because we're human. But once or twice versus every single day, all the time, are two very different things.
Right. And
That's all I wanted to add.
I like that you said focus on yourself because, you know, man, I went to church all of my life and uh it took a long time for me to find out that I was supposed to focus on myself, self-improvement, self-focus. And the reason why is because so many of us are looking outside when Jesus was telling us to really look within. So the inner works, they provide and birth a greater outer work. So if I don't clean up nothing or something inside of myself, as you said, you guys were cleaning up. If I don't clean up inside, which to me says that you and Miss Glow, y'all cleaning up inside, that y'all will go through the house first. That's like manifesting power. And so to start with the house, it doesn't just mean that we was cleaning the house. It's to me, that's a cleaning out of things from within first, which goes back to the Aries full moon that brought you to here. And that new moon was coming in, or it's coming in saying, okay, it's time for y'all to get this stuff out, because we've been purging since the full moon. The full moon is release. Even though Scorpio tells you to release, right? So we have a release and let go. Why? in Scorpio, it's imperative for the transformation process. It's imperative that if you was going to get a new house, you let go of the old house, that you clean up the new house so that it can be presentable for people to come in and walk through, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I like that you gave the narratives and the ideas of that you brought forward. Now, going into Sagittarius, for our explorer who flies all over the world and any Sagittarius out there, Sagittarius is working on the house of self-undoing, which means that, again, there's a double need to release things for Sagittarius that had not. You know, if you got a big ego, Sagittarius, this is a time where your ego is being called to let go, not just for today, but forever, because you are being transformed on that Aries level, your identity. You may feel like you don't know who you are, but the matter of the fact is that you know whose you are. You are governed and you belong to the Most High. That's what's important, because that's what will get you through a time where you feel like you don't know who you are. Someone said that to me. Sometimes I don't know who I am. I feel like lost. I told him I've been there. And if you put yourself in the hands of the Most High, this is the house that's so necessary for that. So Sagittarius, this is the 12th house for you. Your birthday is coming up in just a couple of weeks and you know, in the next 4 weeks throughout Sagittarius energy. You got birthdays coming up, and self-undoing means that you are working on identifying, as Ashley said, your weaknesses, your challenges, not anybody else's. And that's what this house is all about. This is the house of church, not just for the 12th house is about the house for church, for the temple, for spirituality. How can you grow if you don't let go of who you used to be? The former things have passed away. So self-undoing in Scorpio's energy for the new moon, that's what your focus is. It could be painful. You may not want to. It has to do with, again, regeneration. Why? Shared resources. You might have to step up and pay for something that you don't want to, but if you just go on and plant that seed, you're going to be blessed. What else? Letting go. Letting go of what you think, and letting others think what they want to. Taking yourself out of situations that you may give too much energy to that is not serving you, because this is a servant house as well. We all have this 12th house and it generates differently, but one of the things is that we got to grow and let go. Servanthood, you know what? We want to teach the truth about suffering saints. We don't have to be that. That's an old paradigm. And I'm a little bit off from Sagittarius, but this is for everyone. And so Sagittarius can take this here. Have you noticed how many people are making memes and videos about the church? See, there are some issues that people have not been able to speak to leadership about in the church. And so the people have gotten away from being silent. They found a way to not mock the church, but speak out. It's not that people don't want to go to church, it's that they want to be treated fairly, even in the church. You want to be treated fairly in government. You want to be treated fairly in corporations. See, this is actually an Aquarius energy that's happening that you see in the internet concerning churches. So you could call it what you want to, but the temple of God, Jesus said, is who he is. Now, I want to make some corrections. Jesus never did have a church. He went into a synagogue and he taught his fellow or people, which were his Jewish peers, his family, his ancestors, the people that actually sabotaged him and brought him to death. So let's look at this real clear. This is what Sagittarius is letting go of too. Because self-sabotaging is when you continuously allow yourself to be around situations which Jesus didn't. He did not build a church. He built the temple of God within himself, where he allowed that to be built within him. And he taught those disciples the same thing. They were out in the communities helping people that needed or the people that received the help that he could get. By that faith, be made whole. He never said, I'm going to heal you. He said, will you be healed? All right. So let me go out of the church, but I want to put that out there. Why? Because there's so many of us that feel tossed to the wind because we believe in God. But you can't believe in God unless you go to the church. No, that's not what it said. And I want to make this here clear also. Prophets, if you look in the Old Testament, they never were a part of churches. They were always sitting at the kings and the king in the kingdoms or the kings next to the king because they were prophesied to the king. I could go in further and tell you more, but I will not. But I want you to understand prophets will never be accepted in churches because they cannot be, how would I say? They can't be shut up. If you in a church and your pastor is shutting you down, it's not God's will. Now, you can join my community or you can join our classes and you'll learn a whole lot because even at this point, listen, I had problems with talking like here, Sagittarius, she's speaking up and talking about all kind of stuff, right? Or I'm going to say Sagittarius are coming out. Yes, they're becoming more vocal. And I'm there too. Why? Because we want freedom in what we believe. This is not an obstinate belief system. It's like higher elevation. Jesus didn't have a church. Self-undo from that belief system. Now, if that feels good to you, right? So moving forward, Sagittarius are philosophers. They dig into the mysteries. That doesn't mean that they can become it. Now, I don't want you to get out there and just say, I'm this and I'm that. No, you got to do the work. And it ain't easy work. All right, let me get back into this here for Sagittarius, the reading itself. The plan is to heal this energy, let go of self-sabotage, defeat, and discouraging feelings. And those feelings will come from anything that make you feel you're not good enough. Even in the discussion that I've gave, you have the right to speak your mind, but do it with wisdom. On a deep level, this energy brings the power of transformation environmentally, spiritually, socially, and psychologically. Have you let go of the karma to walk into your purpose? See, we're talking about karma because dharma is waiting. And karma is where you've walked through situations and it's over. You're not accepting anything else less than what you deserve. I am the Ram is speaking. All right. I am the Ram is speaking because of the Kazemi. Because in your identity, you're changing. And that means that you have to believe it's changing for the better. And you have to speak to yourself, speak those things as though they are. Let's see, working to accept the new things that come to you over the years is a thing. You want to look back and reflect on the things that you've been through. And when I say been through, it's been, and you're through it, done. You're going to look at banking, other people's finances, family, self-development, government, church situations, and spiritual practice factors in this new moon. And that's going to be a wrap for that. Ashley, you want to add anything? My cup overfloweth. Thank you, Jesus.
No,
Oh,
nothing for me to add right now. It's just the only thing that I thought was funny is in our group chat, we were talking about what our former president said about not having to pay taxes and that the conversation was brought up by the Sagittarius. So
yep.
we're her strong feelings about this war. She is just out here being vocal and speaking, which I think is beautiful because I've watched her transform as her
Amen.
being. So I'm watching her step into a place of not being afraid, and that's is really beautiful.
Okay, so that's good to hear. Okay, we're going to invite anyone to come into our classes. They could email me at kim@kimwarnersworld.com or even kim.warner27@gmail.com. No solicitations, but you can get the information on how to come in and be a part. This is going to be a glorious year. 2024 for us. We also have some other things coming up, a cruise in 2024 again. And you're welcome to be a part of that and become cohesive with loving, spirited people. Blessings and be cool through this moon. Be safe and drive safe because there could be a lot of accidents. And not wishing the worst, but not allowing frustration, anger, and doubt and worry to drive you, but letting the Spirit of God to drive you more and be at peace that all is working for your highest good. Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah, I wasn't going to speak to you. Oh, thank you.